The Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Report seeks to measure the factors and policies that make it attractive to develop the travel and tourism sector in different countries. The report covers 124 nations and is comprised of 13 main pillars.
And what we aim to do within the report is to look at all of the factors and policies that drive travel and tourism competitiveness, specifically the factors and policy that make it attractive to develop the travel and tourism sector in different economies.
I think this report, by using that data and integrating it, brings many of the actors together, and it does help to advance aspects of competitiveness.
It's really far more than an index. It's first of all a comprehensive look at all of the factors that influence travel and tourism, from the very early stages of development to the more mature stages of sustainable development.
The index is a perfect tool for governments to see how they are ranked, how they perform compared to the 174 countries with whom they are competitive with.
The report is supposed to basically measure how well the travel and tourism industry does within global economies. We were given mandate last year to develop a report that looked at a number of issues which drive competitiveness of this industry.
In order to put this report together, we worked with a number of experts in the area of travel and tourism. First of all, we worked with industry experts, particularly Booz Allen Hamilton. We also worked with a number of companies in the industry, leaders in the industry, as well as international organizations and representatives of the industry.
We represent $450 billion of activities. Connecting people, connecting markets have a great importance in order to boost national economies.
It is important that you have an index where you can benchmark the countries, where you can see where your investment, where your construction, where your career can develop.
The primary way that we hope people use the index is not about relative ranking. It's about what the elements of the index tell you, and it's about best practices that have been applied in other places and implemented in countries.
And the good thing about the index is that they see what others are doing, so it will make it easier for them to do the right thing.
The government will have a very effective tool to benchmark their performance. What do we need from governments to achieve the same level of efficiency that we have achieved?
This can be prime ministers, ministers of economy, ministers of environment, are beginning to see that this sector is a very important part of society. All developing countries have tourism assets.
We expect for it to provide a platform for dialogue between business and the government in order to address those obstacles to competitiveness.
And if this report could be seen as some sort of vehicle which helps to identify the fact that the poorest countries have a capacity to boost their economies, to create jobs for their people, to attract investment by focusing on tourism, it can be a terrific value added.
The big lessons are that you can have a practical set of tools that go beyond, everyone's individual experience to actually lay out a framework for development. The travel and tourism sector can be so successful, it can generate excess income that can be reinvested in the economy as a whole.
And I have finally begun to see people sitting up who are decision makers and policy makers and saying, maybe tourism could help.
Personal hopes is first and foremost that the governments and national governments really receive it as a way for industry to help them develop their own travel and tourism industry nationally.
I would hope that it piques curiosity, not of the individual countries that are looking at their own interests, but curiosity on how other people have leveraged the experience. This allows you to actually do that, to group the countries together, to look at the experiences, to trade off the cultural things, and not just try to transplant someone else's travel and tourism industry on your culture. It allows you to customize, make it real, and drive the investment program.
Travel and tourism represent 10% of the GDP, and if governments are effective in changing those rules of the game, liberalizing the market, regulating the monopoly supply, they will really boost their GDP, give more jobs, more economic activity, and have a better world.